The Arctic is no more peripheral to the global power play, but has become a central part of it. So a region which was meant to be silent has now making all the noise around the world. And the reason is becoming more and increasingly militarized with each passing day. Hello and welcome to the in-depth series section of Drishti IAS. I'm Aisha, and in today's episode we will be talking about the Arctic and the topic of India must rethink its Arctic outlook. So as of now, the Arctic has become a region which is getting militarized with each passing day, and the major global powers like the countries like the US, China, Russia is increasing its military presence in the Arctic. So a region which was earlier known to be silent, a region which was there for the scientific cooperation and the science and technology innovations and for more and more scientific research, is now becoming the central point of the global power play, and all the major countries of the world are getting involved in it. And now the point has risen that India must also, or should India also change its stance on the Arctic. And in today's episode, we will be talking about that what is the present situation is in Arctic, what does India needs to change its stance, what the other countries are doing about the India's Arctic policy, and much more. So, topic is of relevance from General Studies paper 3, that is environment and ecology. Before we move forward, Drishti IAS Mukherjee Nagar classes has now shifted to Noida, and the admissions are open for the IAS GS Foundation course covering both prelims and mains. The English medium batch is starting from 7th of May, while the Hindi medium batch admissions are open. For any information, give us a call at 87501 87501. So what is happening as of now is that the Arctic, which was considered to be a silent region, is transitioning from a zone of cooperation to the zone of strategic competition among the global powers. And basically, when we talk about global powers, the countries like US, China and Russia comes to the forefront, and Russia is asserting military and strategic presence in Arctic, while on the other hand China is expanding its Arctic interest, and the US is increasing its engagement in the Greenland, and the US president has very clearly shown its interest in getting the Greenland. Now, when we talk about Arctic, so Arctic is a region which is very rich in natural resources, be it natural gas, oil and rare minerals. So every single country wants to get a hold of Arctic, and as the climate change is taking place and the temperatures is rising, so the snow in the Arctic or the ice in the Arctic is also melting, and the trade routes, so the earlier trade routes which used to be open or which used to be working only in the peak of summer times is now becoming open, and the trade routes are also increasingly taking place because of the rise in temperature, and which is also increasing a major aspect of the Arctic, and why the superpowers or why the major countries are interested in it even more. Then the climate change as a catalyst. Now, melting ice due to climate change is enabling access to new maritime routes and untapped resources. So this new maritime route is also one of the increasing aspect that the major countries are looking into, because this new maritime route will lessen the time period and will also lessen the shipping lane traffic among the major trade routes as of now, which is very exhaustive. Then Northern Sea route, once limited by seasonal ice, the Northern Sea route is now more navigable, more approachable and more accessible as compared to the previous time. Now, when we talk about the Arctic Ocean, so Arctic Ocean is the northernmost region of the earth spreading around the North Pole, and it is considered to be the smallest and the shallowest ocean among the 5 principal oceans like the Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Arctic Ocean and the Southern Ocean. Then its salinity is the lowest on average, as the evaporation rate is low, and also the fresh water which is coming from the rivers is very high. Now look at this image. This is the image of Arctic. So the circle which I am showing you is Arctic Circle. Arctic Circle latitude is 66.5 degree north, and the region which is coming under it comes under the part of the Arctic Circle, and this is the North Pole, and all this blue color that you are able to see is the Arctic Ocean. Now when we talk about the countries which comes under the Arctic Circle, so that is starting with Russia, then comes Finland, Sweden, Norway, then comes Greenland, then comes Canada, and then US. So these are the countries which are part of the Arctic Circle. Now let us talk about the growing militarization in the Arctic. So militarization of the Arctic. So the Arctic nations are increasingly reopening military bases, deploying submarines and asserting control through military presence. And they are doing this because first of all, because of the extreme presence of the natural resources in that area. And as of now, the countries like the Russia and the northern part of Russia is very close to that region. Then comes US, the Alaska part of US is very close to that region. So every country wants to get a part of Arctic. Then global geopolitical relevance recognized early. Former US President Donald Trump's proposal to buy Greenland has signaled the strategic recognition of the Arctic's growing importance. And then about the impact of non-Arctic powers like India are being affected by the changing Arctic landscape, because India's policy with regard to Arctic is based on scientific cooperation and innovation, and it is not about getting the area militarized. While if the other countries are making the area militarized, then this will impact India also. Now, if we talk about India's role, so India's Arctic policy in the year 2022. So this Arctic policy of India talks about and focuses on climate science, environmental sustainability, and how Arctic changes and South Asian climate systems are affected by each other. And it is inspired by parallels with the Himalayas, which is the third pole. And if we talk about the blind spots, then India's Arctic engagement, it lacks a strategic lens. It means that as of now, in the present context, if we talk about, if countries like America and US and China are increasing its military presence, while on the other hand, India's policy talks about scientific cooperation, climate change, then India also needs to rethink that what the other countries are doing, that India is on the right path, or can India cooperate with those countries also with regards to what is happening in the Arctic, or should India also needs to make change to its Arctic policy? And this is the question that needs to be answered in the present context. Then legacy engagement is not sufficient, because as of now, if we talk about India's research station in Arctic, then India has a research station named Himadri in Arctic in the Svalbard region. And India also has a observer status in the Arctic Council. Now talking about India's Arctic policy, which was launched by the Ministry of Earth Science in the year 2022. So India's Arctic policy basically talks about or works on the 6 pillars, and these 6 pillars are science and research, climate and environmental protection, economic and human development, then transportation and connectivity, governance and international cooperation, and national capacity building. So basically India talks about peaceful way of tackling with the Arctic, and it does not talk about making the area militarized or making the area or using arms and ammunition in the area. So in India basically with regard to the Arctic is in the context of scientific research and peaceful scientific cooperation. Then India's interest in the Arctic region are scientific, environmental, commercial as well as strategic, but it is not militarized. Then the nodal agency for the Indian Arctic and Antarctic programs is the National Center for Policy and Ocean Research, and it comes under the Ministry of Earth Science. So this becomes important for you knowing about the India's Arctic policy. So if we talk apart from India's Arctic policy, if we talk about the Arctic Council, then Arctic Council has 6 permanent members, and then there are 13 observer members, and among that 13 observer member, India is one of the members. So India is within the Arctic Council, India is an observer member. And then if we talk about the Arctic Council, it was formed by the Ottawa Declaration. And what does Arctic Council talks about? Arctic Council talks about, and those permanent members of the Arctic Council, they take the decisions. The consensus needs to be there on the decisions, and the decisions are non-binding in nature, which is one of the major drawbacks of the declaration or of the council. And the permanent members of the Arctic Council, they come together and they discuss on how the Arctic needs to work and how the Arctic needs to be well prepared with regard to the coming times, and the sustainable nature of the Arctic must be maintained. And now in the end, a prelims MCQ, and like always, you people need to tell me the answer in the comments below. So the question is, which of the following is a key limitation of the Arctic Council as a governance body? It includes military security as a central pillar of cooperation. Second, it grants full membership to all interested countries, including non-Arctic states. Third, its decisions are non-binding and it excludes security and defense issues. Or fourth, it operates under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. We have discussed this, so give me the answer in the comments below. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Till we meet next time, keep reading, keep writing, and keep subscribing to the channel. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.